Hey guys, I'd like to welcome you to the Cortex Media Podcast, where we navigate the fast-paced world of automotive and more. I'm your host, Corson Schmidt. Here today, I have Brady Lehr. Brady is the President and Executive Vice President of High Country Performance 4x4, 4x4, Colorado's premier off-road and 4x4 customization shop. Brady's automotive journey began in 2000, selling cars before moving into the world of Jeep rebuilding and eventually joining HCP in 2006. Starting out by cleaning toilets and working his way up through nearly every role in the company, he holds a BA in English writing from the University of Colorado and is known for his self-taught, hands-on approach, learning through both professional and personal challenges. Brady is the founder of So Good Sober, a lifestyle brand dedicated to showing how rewarding life can be in recovery. His story is one of resilience, hard work, and the belief that with dedication and opportunity, dreams really can come true. It's great to have you on, Brady.
Yeah, man, appreciate the opportunity.
No worries. I'm excited to get through this conversation with you. But before we start it off, do you mind just giving us a little bit of background on where you came from and how you got into HCP and worked your way up through the roles?
Yeah. So, I'm born and raised in Colorado. I'm a native. Anybody that's from Colorado, they would understand why we say that. And then, yeah, I guess how I got here in high school, I eventually got a Jeep when it was my second car. It is funny. I got a funny picture where it's not like lifted. It's actually we went the other way and it was whatever. So we lowered it. And then one of my great friends, Nick, he works for us now too. He's a service manager, but he had a lifted TJ. So like a 98 TJ, and it was like 90 or 97. It was like 98 when he had it. And I was like, oh, I want to do that. So I did up my first year of college. I put a lift kit on it in the parking lot of Fort Lewis. And then I only stayed 1 year in Durango. It's a small mountain town southwest, of Colorado, and came back and I just then at that point I went to Mile High Jeeper Builders. But they were just a small parts house. Opened in the '60s. Some old school guys. We focused on pretty much '86 and down. CJs, a lot of flat fenders, stuff I think is really cool now. And then just there wasn't much growth or opportunity there. It was they've closed since I've left, and I actually didn't like High Country when I was over there because they were like the big shop and the cool guys and all the new stuff, that kind of. But I wanted to get in this building, so I came and talked to Al, who's the original owner. He started the business in 1980. Doing like machining Bronco parts. So if you ever see the early Broncos with the cowl hoods and the fender flares, the fiberglass, that was all our
Yeah.
original molds. He just developed all that products. But either way, so transition to Jeep. So we talk about market trends, right? But I want to do anything. And in the interview, I was like, well, will you do anything? I was like, yeah, I'll clean toilets. He's like, cool, you're hired. I was like, oh, what did I get myself into? But so I had some automotive experience. It's a tough building to get into. It still is now. I started cleaning toilets, and then I started counting inventory. And then eventually I found a seat, or was given the opportunity for a seat on the counter to sell stuff. And then I was in 2010. So by 2010, I was on the sales counter. That was the first year that anybody in this building had broke $1 million in sales alone. And I did that in 2010, and I accounted for about 48% of the company's overall income.
Wow.
Sold, selling jobs, selling parts. And then what's funny is I actually, Al and I got into an argument, I think it was about 2012, 2013. And this desk I'm sitting at right now, I threw the keys on it and I quit July 4th. I
Wow.
left. But it was actually a good move, I guess. Not what happened in between there wasn't great, but I left High Country and I went to start a competitor shop, Northridge, which is now since closed. And then I went corporate, wrote service at Ed Bozarth, the Chevy dealership, with Nick. He taught me the reins kind of on writing service. And then I found myself at Champ Automotive Group, as a service manager at Mini and BMW, more on the Mini side. And then, yeah, learned a lot there about fixed ops and stuff. And then, my I didn't love the job. Money's great, job sucks. And
Hmm.
so I wanted to get back to high country. So I met with Al, and yeah, I looked at his numbers. I'm like, man, your service numbers suck. Like, we could definitely fix this. So he kind of gave me a show me deal, like, hey, you turn this around, maybe I'll sell you the company. And here we are.
That's amazing. That's awesome. That's quite the story.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy to tell it. It's like, well, a little bit of luck, a lot of opportunity. You could work hard, but without opportunity and a little bit of luck, it's tough. So I'm blessed, man. I'm grateful for where I'm at and everything. So yeah,
For sure.
that's a very
Yeah.
long, I guess, intro to why I'm sitting here.
No, that's awesome. That's perfect. Well, do you mind telling the audience just a little bit more about what you guys do at High Country Performance?
Yes. So I guess the easiest way, or if I'm going to explain it to somebody that has no idea about what we do, we take production-based vehicles and we modify them for recreational off-road use. So we're going to take the Toyota 4Runner that was designed to go to the grocery store, the food store. I don't know what you guys say up north. But we build it to drive up mountains. And then, so yeah, that's what we do. We modify stuff. I mean, obviously, people want it for just aesthetics too, but we do as a percentage base. I would imagine our market, our customer base is going to use their vehicles actually for what they're intended for. The off-roading, the overlanding, rock crawling, whatever. They're kind of their needs and wants. So that's what we do. Yeah, we just modify them, and try to make them better, more capable. And I guess the kind of the thought behind that is or whatnot. I mean, obviously we're car guys. We love it. You love it. We modify everything we have. But what I
For
really
sure.
like about what we do is that we're giving somebody that's traditionally like your car, right? It's like it's seen as like go A to B, back and forth to work. Get the kids from school or just whatever it is. But the car culture is so big in America, and I assume Canada too.
Yeah.
It's huge, right? And then so we're giving an opportunity to use something that's seen as like mundane and like you have to maintain it and that kind of stuff. But you can use this asset or this vehicle to I guess like enjoy life, to add part to experiences in life and adventure and I mean as humans, I mean, we like to get out. We weren't meant to sit in the living room behind a screen and that stuff. And it does allow people to to kind of break the norm, the mundane A to B work, and use the vehicle for something other than just transportation. So I guess that's kind of the part that took me a long time to learn to love about it, because I always wanted to modify it because it was cool, or do this and that, and because what it can offer, right? It kind of adds a little slice of life, to do things. So that's kind of, I guess, that's really, I mean, I guess, whereas the further I get in my career and stuff, what I really enjoy about it, like, yes, I love seeing them and building them and that kind of stuff. But when the people come back and they're like, man, I took my son up and we went fishing or we went shooting or we just, you know, drove around, it's awesome. I got a story. My grandpa, my dad's father, or my grandpa, my dad's dad died. Well, not quite 10 years ago, but and we went down to get his stuff in Arizona, and we took my truck and we went as many dirt roads and off road as we could to get down there. And it was sweet, just my dad and I hanging out, just kind of boondocking or overlanding, depending on what you guys called, and
Yeah.
ended up in the Gila National Forest and stuff. It was super cool, man. So yeah,
That's
that's
cool.
that's what we do.
That's awesome. That's super cool. So your path has been nothing but different, starting at such a low position at HCP, but now you're one of the leaders of the company. How did you turn that beginning into a leadership role at one of Colorado's top off-road shops?
Uh, that's a good question. I think about that quite a bit on how did I get here. So I wanted when Mile High Jeeper Builders was around. I mean, I could see the old owner, Fat Cat. He had died. He died, and he whatever. But I was like, man, I would it'd be nice to own this one day. To like have this, make this mine, and I guess like even like everything from my childhood schemas and stuff, like I always, always had a plan or wanted to be in charge or whatnot. I don't know. So, but so with high country, I didn't have that. I didn't have like that, like that. I want this or I could do this or whatever, just because I didn't see it. Like I didn't. It wasn't a possibility, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I just like I said, I mean, I worked hard and I love the sales aspect of it. Like if, it's almost like a game, right? Like Corson, it's you versus me. Like I'm gonna open your wallet. Yeah, so I like to
Yeah.
sell and that kind of stuff. And I don't know if I mean, my dad has said it before. He's like, yeah, you're a natural leader and that stuff. And I don't know about any of that, but I just I worked hard on the sales staff and I just kept like showing up, right? And not only like professionally but personally too for everybody out there. Like just I mean, showing up is like we're never going to be perfect, but if that pursuit of perfection or whatnot, yeah, just kept showing up, and then and I don't know, and just things kind of fell in place, and I mean, I worked really hard, and then the opportunity did present itself, and it was it was a big one. Not a lot of people would have taken it, and done that just due to risk and things, and I kind of thought to myself, I'm like, Brady, this is your only shot, man. Like, if you want to change, your path and career path and do something you love and, be in charge, be in control. I have bad control issues. I was like, this is what you got to do. So that's what I did. And it was nice though, because starting at ground level here, I say like the American car dream or American car dream. But starting ground level, I've worked every position in this building, with the exception, I've never been a full-time tech. So it's, I can relate to the guys and I can, and I know what, works or doesn't work and that stuff. And that the biggest, I guess, thing with high country, what we do is that there is no book on our service department. You can't look at like a fixed ops or, and do that. So we have to take parts
Yeah.
from like what works at the dealer, what works at, the auto parts store, what works at an independent repair shop. And we have to put it all together because we're not following labor guides. We're taking millions, if not billions of dollars of engineering and we are blowing it out the window. And, so yeah, that's a being coached. It's a hard question to answer, man. I mean, how I got here is just, like I said, I guess I just came to work every day.
Yeah, yeah, you just showed up, you did some hard work, which is what a lot of people lack these days, in my opinion. But if it pays off, as you can see throughout your story and throughout your career, right? It's paid off, and look at your position now, just from showing up and putting that work in.
Yep. Yeah, and I mean, I
Um,
do have to say, the one thing I'll put on that, you can work hard and nothing and things cannot happen. So if anybody's like, thinking about this or what they want to do, but you have to look for that opportunity and you have to find that opportunity. And if you have the chance, just, I mean, risk involved, whatever, nothing happens, nothing good in life happens without risk. And, if you see that opportunity, you got to go for it because I feel bad. I mean, people work their asses off their whole careers and they don't, get to a place. So, opportunity has a lot, to do for it. So if you see it, or keep your eyes out for it.
no, for sure, that totally makes sense. What was so far with being with the company? What has been one of the coolest builds that you've seen roll out of the shop?
Oh man. I mean, I would say this, probably not on camera. My Jeep that we started like 6 months ago, I'm pretty thrilled with it. It was Al's Jeep. We built it 18, 19 years ago with Nemesis, and we took the 4 liter out. We put a Gen 5 LT, which is not real prevalent in the Jeep world. The LT stuff, LS swaps are a dime a dozen, so it's pretty
Yeah,
cool. It's not done though. So we have two different sides, right, of the business now. We have like what we call like side A or shop A, and then we have a full fabrication department. A lot of the like really like cool stuff, and like that people look at comes out of the fab side just because it's all hand built. It's different. So there's some really badass stuff that comes out of there. But in terms of like like cool stuff, I mean, if I had to pick one thing in the 20 years I've been doing this, we built like a GPW sort of for a customer. His name was Iran. This has got to be shoot 15, 16 years ago, but small block Chevy in a GPW and a flat fender. It was like custom paint, custom stitching on the seats that said Willys
that's
and stuff.
cool.
It's probably my favorite one because it was more like a resto mod. It was a little ahead of its time. But yeah, we got
Yeah.
an hour to talk. We would need way more than that to go through all the cool stuff we build, man, because I mean, it's all over the board.
Yeah, no, you guys do a lot. I was checking out your website, and you guys do everything from full off-roading to just simple overlanding or just simple little lift and wheels and tires, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's when I say like needs and wants, right? Because what you want with your vehicle is not going to be what I want. And we also
For
don't
sure.
want to build the wrong vehicle for somebody. Because if it's things are expensive. What we do in this building is expensive, and nothing we do in this building is because you need it, because you want it. So we got to
For
make
sure.
sure that we're on track. But yeah, we'll do anything. I mean, we don't do a ton of general repair, but from oil changes to a vehicle that's here on the fab side 3, 4, 5 years. We can kind of do it all, and that's like what I was saying about writing the book. I mean, and that's what's tough in this building, because we have guys that can hang parts and bang like 4 wheel parts, ORW. I don't know who you guys have there, and then we have, super experienced guys for the older stuff. I mean, it's just, yeah, it's all over the board what we do. That's the fun part of it, though. It's never the same.
Fair enough. No, that's what's nice about it, right? Being in a custom atmospheres, you're never dealing with the same thing. You show up to work, if you're a tech, you're always working on something new, so it keeps the techs happy for sure that way as well. What are some of the biggest lessons that you've learned moving from car sales to now Jeep rebuilding and now being part of the management?
The hardest lessons, is that what you said? The hardest, right?
Yeah, the
I
biggest or hardest lessons, yeah.
Okay, so the for me, I guess, so where I sit now, the hardest one is the realization or understanding, different people and team mentality. I say it a
Hmm.
lot outside of this building, like, or in the rooms. Bill's friends will know what I'm talking about. Like, if if we took all of our problems and threw them in the middle of the room, we'd probably pick our own up. And so, like, on that note, it's I can't, you can't talk to guys the same way everybody, and it's trying to find that balance of being like stern and accountability and getting things done. To internally, I want this to be a fun place to work. I don't want people to hate going to work every day, because so many people in their
For
lives,
sure.
they grind it out and they hate their job and they hate their career, and then they die. I don't want that. Like, I want people to, enjoy it as much as they can. So that's kind of it. Yeah, the balance of, work life balance and a a good workplace. And then, I mean, financially try to support the guys and their families and that stuff. So yeah, that's a hard one. And then also just carrying the weight of of the guy, of the guys, because that's on me to make sure they can feed their families and stuff like that. Is good. And I really think from a small business perspective, and with a close, tight knit shop, and as close as we all are together, it's kind of I wouldn't say like duty, but maybe responsibility to a point, to not only like take care of the guys, but also try to make everybody in this building better outside of here. So yeah,
For
that's
sure.
probably when you talk about like the hardest thing is just, yeah, trying to manage people. That's what everybody always says, right?
Yeah. No, for sure. It's totally true, right? Being a business owner, you got to make sure you take care of your customers, and you got to make sure you take care of your employees, because at the end of the day, they're the ones paying the bills for the company to keep the lights on.
Yep.
And
Yeah, I
that's the
think
most
Richard
important thing
Branson.
within a business.
Yep, I agree with you. I think Richard Branson said it. He's way smarter than I am, but he's like, if you take care of your people, they'll take care of your customers, and it all works. So something like that.
That's the short form version of it. But yeah, it's true. It's totally true. So you spoke about, or like when we were texting earlier, you spoke about being self-taught through failure and overcoming addiction. How did your recovery journey change your career and personal life?
Well, yeah. Well, I didn't die. We can start there. Yeah, I just I couldn't manage my stress. I went through a divorce, and the buyout and the divorce kind of happened at the same time. We won't get into this too much. If anybody's interested in it, though, they have my email and stuff. Call me and we can talk more about it. But for this podcast, we'll just give you the short version.
Sounds
Yeah,
good.
in November of 22, the end of November of 22. I was in the ICU. Oh, that's hard to talk about. I didn't want to do this, Hunter. With acute
Sorry,
liver
we don't.
failure. No, no, you're good,
Oh
man. It
no.
happens all the time. It's actually more of joy, right? But yeah, acute
Yeah.
liver failure, upper GI bleed, and I
Wow.
thought I was gonna die, and so did everybody else. And I guess I just said, if I get out of this, I'll make a change. So I didn't die, obviously. And I when I joke around about this, it's serious shit. People die every day from it. But yeah, I checked myself into rehab. I spent 105 days in rehab, and then that like changed. I mean, not only like my life and the projection of my own life, but my kids, my family, and the business. Because
For
you know
sure.
if I'm not like on top of it and I can't be there, then the business is gonna fail too. And it's so I mean, I joke like everything in my life, from business, personal, is better with the exception of my golf game, in sobriety. And yeah, and it's great, man. And it's just to to have the clarity and to go through it. And
That's
as you see me
amazing,
like get
man.
choked, yeah, and get choked up there, the I guess in 10 years from now, looking back, you'll kind of be a blip on the radar. But the tools I learned and what I went through, there's probably not much in my life that's going to be, harder than the last almost 3 years. Well, it gets easier every day, but, what I went through, nothing's going to be harder. So, facing adversary and stuff, it's not going to, I'm not, like I said, I have the tools now. So,
For sure.
but yeah,
Yeah. That's amazing. Do you mind speaking? Such an amazing story, and it's super. I've know people that have been through addiction. It's super hard, and it's amazing that you've now come out of it and you've realized to help yourself, and you're still here, and you've made your brand now as well. Do you mind speaking a little bit about your brand and the message behind your brand?
Yeah, so I need to do some more work on it. It's we were a bit busy, but so it's So Good Sober. Drew Powell, he's a guy that I had met through Valiant. That's where I went to rehab. So we were just like joking one day, or not really joking, but just talking, about like how much life is better. And I wish I'd have done this. Any addict that gets clean is like, yo, I wish I'd have done this like 10 years ago. And so we started it, to kind of show people like what life looks like on the other side, and that you can still have fun and you can enjoy it. And life is better because unfortunately there's so much like embarrassment and judgment and stuff around addiction. Not only the guys like me on the chemical dependent side, I'm an alcoholic addict, and then you got guys that are on the process side, sex, gambling, those type of things, and there's just such negative
Hmm.
connotation on it. And like AA, what's the second A mean? It's anonymous, and we don't want to be that. We just want to tell people like, look, life is good and it's great. And in that, so the name So Good, so it's So Good Sober. The name So Good came from one of my, he's now a buddy of mine, but he's works at the mastercraft at a boat dealership. And he would always say it. His name's Jarrett Clark. He'd always be like, "Oh man, things are so good." He's like a pro, expert, former pro wakeboarder, and so we kind of stole it from them because yeah, life is so good, and it truly is. It's just it's amazing, how much time you get back in freedom and that stuff. And we're just
For sure.
we're here to just kind of after people decide to make that change, like to do it to just hang out, be a community, and I mean, I'll say the world would be a better place, if for everybody, if if more people could get help and access to it and just chat. So
For sure.
yeah, so
Definitely.
like I said,
Definitely.
and that's one down there. If anybody else wants some info on it, let me know. I'll talk to them about it. But we can stick to cars or whatever, man.
Yeah. No, I really appreciate being open about that because a lot of people struggle with it, and if you show that you're being
Yeah,
open about it, maybe other people will take that into account as well. So I really appreciate you speaking on that. I
yeah,
know it's really
no,
hard on you.
yeah, yeah. No, it's just I just get choked up, man. It's just tough, but 100% though. I mean, let like the guys like that have been through it, like myself and Drew, like let us carry the burden. I don't want to see people lose their kids, their family, like I did, and almost their life, and let us carry that burden and use us as a resource. Because yeah, it's tough, man, and it sucks. I mean, it destroys families. It's generational destruction. So
For sure.
whatever we can do to
Yeah,
try to
well,
help.
Thank you. I'll get back to high country for you, but you guys have such a great reputation for building not just vehicles, but also a strong company culture and customer loyalty. What sets your team and shop apart from other um, off-road companies within the industry?
Um, I mean, I would say we just start experience. High country in general. We've been here since 1980.
For
And
sure.
then the guys that are here, we want. I mean, not every single person in this building is an enthusiast and a car guy, but it's more than not. And so we breathe it every day. We do it every day. So yeah, the experience, and then yeah, I mean it's really got to be it. If I had to put in one word, is just the experience and experience and passion for what we do. And the
For
other
sure.
thing, I guess, with high country, if you from a business standpoint, being that we're not owned by a larger company, that we can kind of choose our own path and do what we want to do. It gives us more options to meet the needs and wants, Corson, of like what you want. And we're not constrained by corporate stuff. And we'll do things. We're like, should we do it? Or we like, I don't know if we should, but can we? Yeah, we can do it. We'll try it. So yeah, just being open and that kind of stuff. So it's yeah, that's probably, I mean, I say what sets us apart. We're also relatively large compared to some of the smaller shops in our market, at least. I mean, our building A is 10,000 square feet. The shop is 7,000. We have a 3,000 square foot showroom. So it's kind of old school. Like
Wow.
you walk in, it's actually a retail showroom, not like a little desk. And then
Yeah.
our shop B is 5,000 square feet or 4,000, and then half of that's the fab shop.
Wow.
So yeah, yeah, experience, and yeah, that's probably it, man. And when I say experience, not only like the time and the counter guys, but the guys that that are wrenching and that stuff. So we have yeah, there's a lot of experience in the building.
That's awesome. What's your approach to leading such a quality first team and fostering such a growth among employees, especially those starting out in entry level, because that's exactly where you started. What's your approach to leading that team to really um, have all the same mindset on growth for the company and having a solid product for the customer at the end of the day?
Well, yeah, we're not perfect, so I mean, I'll preface by that. There's always work to do, but all right. Starting like the ground level guys is we want to grow them, right? Or I want to grow them. The biggest thing I have is that when is to have pride in what we do. I say like the shield or the high country logo there, like wear that shield with pride, and be and enjoy what we do and be proud of what we do. So that's, I guess, step one is to to buy into what we do, and and we are all a team. CJ, our counter guy, says all the time, he's like, we're here more with you guys more than our families, and it's like, yeah, we are. So yeah, so there's just a pride in it, and then with grooming it is kind of doing it the high country way. Al, who started the company, if you talk to like my fiance and stuff, you think I have control issues. Al was way worse. But there is good parts of that, to do things high country way, and do it the correct way. Because at the end of the day, we want people to be safe. I mean, driving a car is inherently dangerous. Taking a vehicle off road is inherently dangerous. Yeah, so groom the guys up, though. Have pride in groom the guys up. Yeah, just do quality work, and that kind of speaks for itself. When you see that the product's delivered, yeah, to the end user and whatnot. So I guess that's I don't really have the great answer for that, but the whole thing is just yeah, is just everybody buying in, and just doing it for the betterment of everybody, and especially the customer. Like you said earlier, if you take care of them, they're gonna come back, and that's how we've made it 45 years, in business is by doing just that.
No, totally for sure. That's one of the most important things, right? You got to take care of those employees, like we said earlier. Now to jump kind of into industry trends, the off-road industry is always evolving. The automotive industry as a whole is always evolving. But what are some of those major trends that you're super excited about for the future? Are you seeing more people getting into off-road 4x4 niche, or people starting to slowly get away from it?
So we're pretty in terms of volume and stuff. We're pretty plateaued. It's been the same for a while. The what I've seen in it, this you want to talk about starting to cry. I'll start crying here. The Jeep market is down. I and it's this would be my theory opinion, with the JK was like crazy how much it changed the market because it brought, bringing a four-door Jeep to the market changed everything. People could drive them daily. Unlike the TJ came out, it was technologically super advanced, stronger frame, metal was different on the bodies. Obviously, we had coil springs front and rear. But I don't with the JK and the four doors, it was it exploded. I don't think Stellantis did enough with the JL that people are really excited about it. And also the cost is just wild. I mean, it's like 80 grand for a Rubicon is just it's not attainable, right? So the Jeep market's a little bit down. The big truck market is up. And I thought the overlanding, this is this funny thing. I'll ask you how, if it's common you guys use it. I really thought the overlanding or the car camping or whatever was going to be like a trend. I didn't think it would last this long. I was 100% completely wrong. People do, or do, do that stuff. The trucks are a better platform for it. And when I say trucks, like not a Tacoma, they can't carry the weight. And some other stuff. They do okay, but we can, that's beyond another conversation for another day. But so in
For
terms of
sure.
market trends, yeah, we're seeing, the truck market is big, it's hot. The G market's a little bit down. The early Bronco, Chevy, square body stuff, it's came back sort of to a reality where you can, own one, not out of control. We're definitely seeing a revival of the earlier Jeeps, the flat fender stuff. Younger guys getting into them. That's how I started with that. So I'm very
Yeah.
familiar with the GPWs, MBs, 2As, 3As. And they're cheap-ish. So I've seen a big revival on the flat fenders. And that's really you kind of guess where we're at. We are seeing as technology increases, like we have done a few Porsches and stuff, which is kind of cool. If you haven't
That
seen
is cool.
the Porsche Edith movie, it's pretty cool. You would never guess that they set the highest altitude record for a driven vehicle. So
That's
yeah,
crazy.
it's cool. So and then I guess with whatever we're excited about. Um, I mean, man, it's like every day I'm just excited about all of it. It's The electric car stuff is going to be interesting on how it plays out with like the
For sure.
4xe. We've done a couple EV swaps like on a Tacoma and some other things. I'm not.
That's
I love
crazy.
the technology behind it. I love it. I love it. I love it. It's not for me.
Yeah,
But I'm
for
I'm
sure.
not gonna say anything. So yeah, I mean I just yeah, I don't know, man, but excited. It's funny because I guess looking back, how much has changed in the 20 years that I've been doing it. I mean, it's the TJ was brand new when I started, and now on the JL. But it seems like at the end of the day, it doesn't change all that fast. We're still bigger tires, more traction, better
Yeah.
suspension. So
Yeah. No, for sure, for sure. And you spoke earlier about overlanding really becoming a hit in the industry and it lasting longer than you thought. And it's something that's really taken off since COVID here in Canada. And it's something that we're seeing more. We're starting to see more trails get built for overlanders to get from spot to spot. And but I think I actually had someone on the podcast that builds the boxes and interiors for the bed of your trucks, and he was saying that a lot of overlanders don't have the safety knowledge that they need when they're going overlanding and doing the camping and figuring out how to actually pull themselves out with a winch. And it's one of those things that a lot of people need some help learning that knowledge before doing it because they think it's quite a simple thing. You just take a truck and off road drive, but there's a lot more to it.
yeah, that 100%, and that in the recovery side, we'll call it the recovery side, right? That transitions across all spectrums, from like mining and oil and gas all the way to overlanding, and it is yes, it is very dangerous because you're already in a bad situation if you are using the winches and stuff. I mean, there's people that teach the classes. I mean, I'm sure there's stuff on YouTube. I'm not a big video guy. My learning style is more kinesthetic, not video. But yeah, you definitely want to be safe out there. And I joke around it all the time. I always say it's your civic duty if you're off road to, to know how to use your recovery and to have, and to have recovery gear. I think it was probably 2 months ago, maybe three. We went up. My fiance Jenny and I, we took her Bronco. She's got a 6th-gen Bronco. And we took it up, and ended up pulling a client out, with a Tacoma that had broke the rear, diff, and with no recovery gear. And
Yeah,
in Colorado, it's pretty small. We're not vast. We don't have the space that you guys do. So you probably be able to walk out here and there, but in 3 feet of snow and stuff, they weren't going anywhere. So it's also dangerous. And without the proper stuff, you could hurt yourself, your asset, your vehicle, or the other thing too is do severe damage to the trails and the wilderness by you wrap a winch cable around a tree without a tree saver, like it's we don't want to treat our playground and our backyard and Mother Nature like that.
for sure. No, totally, totally. Um, what do you see are what do you think are going to be some of the trends here in the next few years? Are you going to start seeing more people bringing? I can't really see this, but are you going to see maybe people start bringing more of a hybrid model to overlanding, so
Yeah,
they can use the
yeah.
electric to maybe get to their destination, then use the ice engine to actually go through the trails?
Yes. Actually, you know what? I think it'll be the opposite. I think you'll have internal combustion getting back and forth, and then using like how the 4XEs are off road. Because the beauty of the electric stuff is, with torque on demand, right? So
Yeah,
traditionally we're always like
fair.
gearing things lower. We're trying to, gear it lower because it creates, what does gearing it lower do? It creates more torque, more wheel spin, for that stuff. So it's also quieter, the electric stuff. So I would see it. It's funny because I was driving I have a M38, a 1950 M38, and I took my dad to the lake on Father's Day, and we were driving back and having cooling issues with it. And the battery, it's a long story, but either way, the battery's dying, so I don't have enough juice to like power the coil. So we end up breaking down between the lake and my house. And so I'm trying to push it out this roundabout to get it off the road. And a guy came running over in a 4XE, and he's like, yeah, I use the electric off road, and I'm like, it makes sense. So it's funny we're
For
talking
sure.
about this because I just talked about this 2 days ago. But yeah, so with the electric motors, you can create wheel speed so much faster, and it's more controllable. Maybe more controllable. I've never driven one off road, but yeah, and it's quiet. So I definitely see the EV, the electric stuff. I mean, it's gonna happen, right? I mean,
Yeah,
everybody's pushing for it. I mean, there's a place. I didn't think there's a place in this world for all cars. They're all welcome, right? I didn't think it would be in the off-road industry, but I definitely could see it. Or supplemental stuff like the new Scout that's coming out, like the Traveler package, I think has a generator also for it. So I definitely think we're going to see a hybrid electric stuff. And we'll see what the next decade looks like or whatever, and see what motor swaps and things are going to look like. Um, my fear is with all these new vehicles is that, like, I don't think my kids are gonna, be like, let's restore this JL in 30 or 40 years. Like we, me with the flat fender, it's 80-year-old car, and people are
yeah,
still doing it. So that's, I guess if we want to talk about the good stuff, my fear is that we're gonna lose this, like, this like culture and this history. If well, I won't get into too much. Depending on how things get chopped up politically and stuff, like if they start killing everything, I mean, we're talking about, yeah, losing history. I mean, my grandpa's life was saved in World War II. He's a combat vet. Was saved by a Jeep. He got blown up in a cellar and stuff, and they took him to the hospital,
wow,
on a gurney strap to the side of a GPW. So,
wow.
um, yeah, it's crazy, man. So a Jeep saved my life. That's why I'm here, of course. But
That's
yeah,
amazing.
so I mean, I think we'll see. Yeah, I see a lot, the hybrid stuff. But I mean, what's cool about that in the platforms with that much electricity, like the Ford Lightnings. I mean, for the overlanding stuff, I mean, you can power all the stuff they want to bring. I have no idea how we ever survived without backup cameras or Starlink or any of that stuff. scuttles, craziness. But yeah, I give those guys a hard time. But I do have an overlanding truck, so it's
It's super cool. You start seeing more of those bigger companies coming out with more of an overlanding vehicle. Like Ford has the Tremor, the GMC and Chevy. I don't remember what they came out with, but they seem to start building packages with higher suspension models, a little bit more off-road capabilities. Do you think we're going to start seeing
yeah.
that more and more in the future because that's customer demand?
Yes, I do. Because also, I wouldn't even say it's for like overlanding, but putting a rear locker in it helps, hunters. It helps, just, people in the snow.
Yeah.
And then taking a book from, it's kind of a book from Jeep. I mean, obviously, Toyota's had lockers in them for a long time. But,
Hmm.
the Rubicon project that Dave Yagi had started in 2003, that and the LJ. Well, we say LJ, it's TJD, if anybody wants to know, TJ Deviant. It was never an LJ. But either way, so yeah, I think that what the success that you see there, flows through because they got the Chevy AT4s, the Z71 Suburbans. Chevy's
Yeah.
had the Z71 for a while, but yeah, you're seeing it, and it's actually great when manufacturers, do that. It's great for the clientele because factory warranties and that stuff. So yeah, I think there's definitely a trend in it, and we'll see it. And like you said, COVID did. There's a couple okay things that came out of COVID, and some of it was getting people outside because it's the only thing we were allowed to do.
Definitely.
And,
Yeah.
and that stuff. And also with that being said, with the more people out on the trails, the more capable the vehicles to a point is also better for the trails. You're not digging, especially like overlanding or scenic stuff, so you're not digging holes because you only have one tire spinning. And
Yeah.
it's also safer for the people out there. Engage the lockers instead of having to give it the old yeehaw or Moab bump. Um, so yeah, I think so, and yeah, and it's it's awesome. I mean, there's a lot of open space, on this continent to go explore. We went to Carly after Easter Jeep, and they're down in Temecula, so like between LA and San Diego in California. And I drove back kind of through like Lake Havasu and up, and I was amazed at how vast like Joshua Tree National Park and all that was there. And it's just it makes me think like there's so much to explore and to do, and if the OEs are getting in on it, the stuff's reliable, and it also shows that what we do is gonna hopefully stay around another 40 years.
Yeah, for sure. If OEs are starting to develop a truck like that, there's obviously people interested and they see the demand for it, right? And they're going to keep building as long as there's that demand. And
Yep.
it definitely, COVID, you said earlier, COVID got people back in touch with nature, and it's 100% true it did because camping has been huge. I spoke to a couple camping companies, and it's huge how big camping is. Like even just getting a camping trailer or getting like a rooftop tent for your truck. It's crazy how many people are actually getting out we're getting out in nature. I don't know if it's still as big of a trend, but it was nice to see that people were actually taking that next step and getting back in touch with nature because I think that's the biggest thing with all these technologies that we have within our world. People needed to almost get back in touch with nature, and I think it's still something that we need to push towards as well because a lot of people are still getting caught up in the media, getting caught up in content, getting caught up on electronics, not getting back in touch with themselves and back in touch with nature at the end of the day. Because I tell you, if you take your socks off and go walk around the grass for like an hour, you're gonna feel the best that you've ever felt in any day, any day. There's something about it, right?
Yep. Yes, 100%. I mean, that's a fun concept to explore. Like with humans, like our technology has came so far leaps and bounds, and it's progressed and evolved, but we haven't. And
Yeah.
the human body is slower. So yeah, I mean, it's like you said, walking the grass. You're grounding yourself to the earth, and yeah, it's a huge. I mean, it's huge, man. And that's like when we started talking earlier when we first started this about giving people the opportunity, the adventure, the experience, and that's really what it's about. Yeah, get out there and see it. To feel the dirt on your hands, smell the wildflowers. Maybe that mushroom stinks. I mean, we just we don't get that. If you're not out there, you're not using all your senses, and it's just we talk about so much mental health stuff. Back to the addiction and things, and and nature
Yeah,
and being outdoors is such a huge part of, of that. So yeah, you give me goosebumps talking about that, man, getting people out. So that's yeah, it's a big deal.
for sure. It's something that we need to start pushing back towards again. It's just trying to find a way that everyone can do it to not together, but everyone wants to do it their own way, right? Some people don't like getting muddy and in the dirt driving an overland vehicle or going camping, where some people just like going on a walk at the end of the day on a beach. But I think everyone's
Yeah,
got to find their little way to get back in touch with the ground, with the earth, and just help heal yourself, right? Calm yourself down, heal yourself. Because a lot of us get caught up, work, work, work,
yeah,
electronics, shows, TV. Like there's so much distractions out there, but sometimes we just need to bring it down a level.
yeah, yep, no, 100%. And that's, our little small slice in this, suburb of, outside of Denver called Sheridan, where we're at. That's what we're trying to do, man. Have fun. And we'll also make you look badass going to the grocery store or going to the mall.
Hell yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. What are some of the long-term goals you have planned for High Country? Where do you guys want to be in the next 5 to 10 years?
Um, so 5 to 10 years. I mean, essentially, man, if we could, I would just want us to be better, better for the customer, better quality, I guess a bigger like a reach or be able to do more. And we don't sell anything online. We're never gonna have an online store. It might be the demise of me or what you want to call it, but I don't feel there's any like I wouldn't have a ton of pride just boxing stuff up and shipping it. Like we want to touch it, build it.
For sure.
So 5 to 10 years, man, I want to be sitting here still talking to you about whatever crazy thing we've built, and we're in 5 to 10 years. I hope I mean we see about 225 cars a month that we work on. So in 10 years, do the
Wow.
math. I want that many people to go, pick up a pine cone outside, Uh, so yeah, that's really where we want to be is just kind of the same but better. Always keep that striving for perfection. We're never going to get there, but just that and yeah, that's where I want to be, and hopefully guys can that work here can retire. They go off and you're better men, women for being here, and yeah, I just I'm on borrowed time, man. So for 5, 10 more years, I'm just hoping to still be smiling and enjoying what I do. So
That's awesome. I love it. That's awesome. I love how you just have a simple goal. You don't have much to look forward to. You just have a simple goal, and it's basically revolves around making your customer life happy, right? Making it more
yeah.
convenient for your customer, having different locations, and making them happier at the end of the day.
Yeah. If we could grow and expand, that would be great. Like especially because that would help me raise the ceiling internally for the guys. Because there's only one desk up here because of our size. So yeah, that would be good. So I mean, it would just be yeah. I guess if I had to wrap it up quickly, 5 to 10 years would just be betterment for all parties involved. Employees, customers, the industry, that stuff. And yeah, I mean, simple goals, man. Like it's, I mean, I'm blessed and grateful for what we have now and where we're at, and I'm gonna enjoy it. Well, I'm not gonna wish that it was something different or or whatnot. It's just enjoy what we have, enjoy the moment, enjoy the present day, and just keep just keep building
For sure.
stuff.
Yeah, no, for sure. What are some of the short-term goals that you guys want to hit on the journey to getting those multiple locations or getting that next level service or
So short term, we've done a ton of work in the last, especially the last 6 months, but I'd say the last 2.5, 3 years, in terms of processes and writing our book. And that's another thing too. If anybody listens and they want to chat some ideas or see what we do, have them, reach out. But so short-term goals is to really get the processes developed and and nailed down, and that's everything from how we make sure parts are here for jobs because we're working not with two or three vendors or Chevy only works with Chevy parts. We're working with hundreds of vendors, if not thousands. Um,
yeah,
so get the processes done so everything runs correctly. Have the mothership or the big store run efficiently, and then that way short term, then we can, it's plug and play with employees. It's, whatnot. And then if we did want, that would give us the ability to move forward. That's like, if we did want to open a second location, like, here's your Bible, here's how it works. Um, and yeah, then short term, it's, that's really, because that's it. Just keep, short term is just to keep going and grinding and, be more efficient. The efficiency is, probably the day-to-day short term.
For sure, for sure. What advice do you have for younger entrepreneurs wanting to get into the, say, 4x4 space, and maybe they just want to start their own shop, just doing their own little side gig? What advice do you have for someone wanting to really take a chance in this industry?
So I'm lucky because I essentially inherited a business that was functional. What advice I would have is 100% follow your dream, do it. Like, just get it. Like, there's going to be risk involved. You might fail here and there. But do it. Nothing happens without risk. And at the end of the day, of course, and like, I would rather be like, like, damn, like, I probably shouldn't have done it that way, and have a little bit of maybe regret or whatever, and like, you have to backpedal, than be like, man, I wish I would have done that, because I can work through regret, but I can't get the lost opportunities back. Time is a currency we spend on knowing the balance, and you can't get it back. So for young guys or young guys, women, anybody that wants to do it, I'd say do it. Just do it. Follow your dreams. Make the decision, and just and have be resilient. It's the amplitude of what you have. Like, most people in the careers they live kind of in here. We live like here, the highs and the lows. But you at the end of the day, you wouldn't trade it for anything. And that's my advice. Is just don't sit around talking about it. Put some action behind it, and get it done. Just say
That's
yes. Go.
amazing. Oh, that's awesome. Because it's totally true, right? A lot of people will always talk about something that they want to do, but they never take the action to do it. And that's the first step. That's the biggest step, is to take that first step to actually completing that goal and completing where you want to be.
Yep. Yeah, I joke around, man. It's the F it and I'll figure it out mentality. And that's like me. And then my GM Ryan, he's much more reserved and everything. So we're like very good yin yang. Because I'm like, yeah, we'll just do it. We'll figure it out. So, but yeah, if you don't figure it out, you're going to know why you didn't figure it out. And then you won't make that same mistake again, hopefully.
Yeah, exactly. Just learn from your mistakes, keep moving forward, and keep pushing, and
Yep.
drive towards those goals. Right, that's the biggest thing. If, like you said, if you don't take the steps and you don't get there, you're gonna regret it a lot more than taking a step and messing up.
Yes. I mean, 100%. And that's life in general too. I mean, just, you just got to do it, man. And, living uncomfortable is part of the human experience. It's a great part of the human experience.
For
And
sure,
then you
for
push,
sure.
you push yourself, and then at the end of the day, you're like, man, I can't believe I actually did that. It's kind of cool.
No, that's awesome. Well, one more question: where can people find you? Where your website? Do you guys have social medias?
Yep. So, well, if you're local, we're in Denver. We're outside Denver, Colorado. No, just kidding. But yeah, website is it's all easy. It's hcp4x4.com. So High Country Performance 4x4.com. Socials, we're on Instagram, Facebook a little bit. I think we just do it for my mom. At HCP4x4 is the Insta and Facebook. Yeah, and that's it. And find us out, on the trails, local events. If anybody ever has something big going on and they think it'd be cool to have us, or think we'd be interested in it, let us know. I mean, we don't mind traveling. Like I said, we drove all the way to California to put a skid plate on a Bronco. But yeah, just add HCP4x4, on the website, and we got our store here. So
For sure. Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Brady, for coming on the podcast. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate you speaking about your journey and everything about your whole journey from starting at the bottom and now you're here to going through some of the battles that you went through throughout your journey. And it's super nice that you spoke up about it. And I really hope it finds people that this can really resonate with them and it can change their life as well.
yeah, yep, absolutely. Just everybody watching, remember, I mean, if I can do it, you guys can do it. So if anybody wants any more info on high country or about the So Good stuff, I'm an open book. Give me a call, give me a ring. And Carson, I really appreciate your time, man.
No
Thank you very
worries.
much.
No worries. I'm glad to have you here. I'm glad to have this conversation with you.
Sweet, man. Well, we'll talk to you later.
For sure.